Have you ever felt excited about a goal and then never actually done anything about it? Have you posted about a new journey and then quietly abandoned it a few weeks later? If yes, you are not lazy. You are not weak. You just made one small mistake that millions of people make every single day. And today, this story will show you exactly what that mistake is. In a small town nestled between green hills and quiet streets, there lived a 17-year-old boy named Leo. Leo was not ordinary. His mind was always buzzing with ideas. He had a fire inside him that most people spend their whole lives searching for. One Monday morning, Leo woke up with a powerful feeling. I am going to learn guitar, he thought. I will become amazing at it. I will perform on stage one day. He could already hear the crowd cheering. He could already feel the spotlight on his face. But before he even touched a guitar, Leo picked up his phone. He opened Instagram. He recorded a quick video of himself holding an old guitar he found in the closet. Starting my guitar journey today, no turning back, let's go. Within an hour, 43 likes, 17 fire emojis, 6 comments saying, "You've got this," and "Can't wait to hear you play." Leo smiled. He placed the guitar back in the closet. He felt complete. This was not the first time. 3 months before the guitar, Leo had posted about learning to paint. Starting my art journey, day one. People loved it. People encouraged him. But the paintbrush dried up before it ever touched a canvas. Before that, it was coding. Building my first app, watch this space. The laptop sat untouched for weeks. And before that, a fitness journey, a writing challenge, a photography project. Each one announced loudly, each one silently abandoned. Leo's phone was full of beginnings. His life was empty of results. He never understood why. He was smart, he was motivated, he had good intentions. So why did nothing ever get finished? One weekend, Leo visited his grandmother on the edge of town. Her name was Clara, and she was 71 years old, with silver hair and calm, steady eyes. Her small home was filled with old furniture, the smell of tea and quiet warmth. As Leo sat waiting for her to bring biscuits from the kitchen, his eyes wandered across the room. And then he stopped. On the far wall, hanging in a simple wooden frame, was a painting. It was breathtaking. A woman standing at the edge of a cliff, looking out at an ocean full of golden light. The colors were deep and alive. The brushstrokes were careful and confident. It looked like something from a museum. Leo stood up and walked closer. "Grandma," he called out, "whose painting is this?" Clara walked in slowly, holding a tray of biscuits. She looked at the painting and smiled softly. "I painted that," she said. Leo turned around, his mouth open. "You? When?" "When I was about your age," she said, sitting down gently. "Maybe a little older." "I never knew you could paint like this," Leo said, still staring. "You never told anyone?" Clara poured 2 cups of tea. She handed one to Leo and said something that would stay with him for the rest of his life. "I never told anyone, and that is exactly why I was able to paint it." Leo sat down slowly. "What do you mean?" Clara wrapped both hands around her cup and looked at the painting. "When I was young, I had many dreams. I wanted to paint, to write, to create. But for a long time, I made the same mistake most young people make." "What mistake?" Leo asked. "I talked about everything before I did anything," she said simply. "I told my friends, I told my family, I told everyone what I was going to do. And every time I told them, something strange happened." "What happened?" "I felt as if I had already done it," she said quietly. "The excitement I felt when people praised my idea, it felt the same as the excitement of actually finishing something. My mind could not tell the difference, so it stopped pushing me to work. It thought the reward had already arrived." Leo sat very still. "One day," Clara continued, "I decided to try something different. I had an idea for a painting, a big one, and I told no one, not a single person. Not even your parents? No one, she said firmly. I just started, quietly. Every evening after dinner, I would sit at my little desk and paint. Some nights it was beautiful, some nights it was terrible, and I wanted to give up. But no one was watching. No one was expecting anything. There were no likes to check, no comments to read. There was only me and the canvas. And after many weeks, she said, her eyes moving back to the painting on the wall, it was finished. Leo looked at the painting again. Something about it felt different now. He could feel the silence in it, the patience, the quiet hours behind every brushstroke. That painting is the only thing in my life, Clara said softly, that I am truly proud of. That night, Leo could not sleep. He lay in bed staring at the ceiling, thinking about everything his grandmother had said. He picked up his phone and started searching, and what he found shocked him. Scientists had actually studied this. Psychologists had a name for it. When you tell people about your goals, your brain experiences something called a social reality. It feels as if the goal is already partially achieved. The praise you receive gives your brain a small burst of dopamine, the same chemical released when you actually accomplish something. In other words, your brain gets the reward without doing the work. And once the reward is received, the motivation fades. This is why so many people announce goals loudly and then quietly disappear. It is not weakness. It is not laziness. It is simply the way the brain responds to social approval. The announcement becomes a substitute for the achievement. Leo put his phone down. He thought about every goal he had ever posted about, every fire emoji, every "you've got this." He had been feeding his brain the feeling of success without ever earning it. The next morning, Leo woke up early. He sat on the edge of his bed for a long moment. Then he picked up his phone, opened Instagram, and scrolled back through every unfinished announcement. The guitar post, the painting post, the coding journey. One by one, he deleted them. Then he put his phone face down on the desk. He walked to the closet. He pulled out the guitar. He sat down on the floor, back against the wall, and looked at it for a long moment. No camera, no audience, no fire emojis waiting, just him and the instrument. He placed his fingers on the strings for the first time, and he began. The weeks that followed were not glamorous. His fingers hurt. The sounds he made were ugly. He made the same mistakes over and over again. Some evenings he felt like quitting. The old habit called to him. Just post about it, feel good, move on. But he remembered the painting on his grandmother's wall. He remembered the silence behind it. So he kept going, quietly, invisibly. No one asked how the guitar was going because no one knew he was learning. No one's expectations were hanging over him. There was no audience to disappoint. There was only progress, slow, real, and entirely his own. 3 months later, Leo's school held its annual talent show. Leo signed up. On the night of the show, he walked onto the stage carrying his guitar. The auditorium was full. The lights were bright. His heart was pounding. But his hands were steady, because his hands had done this 1,000 times in the quiet of his room. He sat on the stool. He adjusted the microphone. He looked out at the crowd. And then he played. The song was not perfect, but it was real. It was earned. Every note had been paid for in hours of invisible effort. When he finished, the auditorium was silent for one breathless second. And then the applause came. Not 43 likes on a phone screen. Real hands, real people, real sound filling a real room. Leo looked down at his guitar and smiled. This was what his grandmother meant. This was the feeling that no announcement could ever give you. Months later, Leo visited Clara again. He told her about the talent show. She listened with her quiet smile. When he finished, she nodded slowly. "Do you understand now?" she asked. "I think so," Leo said. "When I posted about things, The praise felt like the finish line, but it was actually a trap. Yes, she said, words are seeds too, and seeds need darkness to grow. When you expose them to the light too early, before the roots are strong, they dry up, they get scattered, they never become anything. But when you protect them, Leo said, looking at the painting on the wall, when you keep them quiet and just work, they grow into something real. Clara nodded. The world does not need to know what you are building. It only needs to see what you have built. So think about your own life right now. Is there a dream sitting in your heart that you have been announcing instead of building? Is there a goal you have posted about but never truly started? Here is the truth. The fire inside you is real. The dream is real. The potential is real. But every time you hand it to the world for applause before it is ready, you steal from yourself. Keep it quiet. Keep it close. Let it grow in the darkness of your daily effort, because the most powerful things in the world were built in silence. Don't post the seed, post the tree. If this story moved something inside you, share it with one person who needs to hear it today, and subscribe for more stories that change the way you see the world.